Hey everybody, welcome to the top 10 list and welcome to my top 10 worst movie remakes. Yes, you saw my last video, I did my top 10 favorite or best movie remakes. Now it's time for the shit list, the shite list. This is the top 10 worst movie remakes. Yes, sometimes a movie comes along and remakes a classic film and does it even better. It gives it justice, and it's even far superior to the original film. And yeah, it's a shock. You're like, oh my god, a remake that's done well. But 80% of the time, a remake comes along and it's stupid. It's an insult to the original, and you have no idea why they even remade it. And yeah, this list is to celebrate all those stupid piece of shit movies. Yes, this is the top 10 worst movie remakes. Alright, before top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions, or dishonorable mentions. And my dishonorable mentions are Total Recall, Poltergeist, RoboCop, The Last House on the Left, Red Dawn, Carrie, and The Hills Have Eyes. Shitty movies, horrible, just couldn't make the top 10 list. But what did make my top 10 was my number 10. My number 10 is Clash of the Titans, yes. Clash of the Titans. This movie isn't god-awful, but it's not good. Like, it's terrible. Like, the CGI looks like crap. The acting is pretty terrible, and pretty much it's just kind of forgettable. That's the main issue, and it is a remake of an old classic film that I actually do like. It doesn't have a lot of critical praise, the original Clash of the Titans, but I do enjoy it. It's silly, it's goofy, it's a bit dated, but I enjoyed it, and I was actually looking forward to them remaking Clash of the Titans, because Clash of the Titans can be remade into a good movie, but they got Sam Worthington, who's a terrible actor. He's so bland in this movie. The only person I was enjoying was Ralph Fiennes as Hades, but yeah, Liam Neeson, just kind of, he was phoning it in and stuff. Almost every actor in this movie was just phoning it in. And there's a young Nicholas Hoult in this movie, and yeah, it's just everything about this movie is just not done well. It's not a complete piece of shit, but it's a very forgettable, ugly mess of a film, and just, it should have never been remade, and it had to make this top 10 list. Coming number 9 is Prom Night. Yes, Prom Night came out in 2008, and this movie had Brittany Snow. Yeah, that's how you sell a good movie. Put Brittany Snow in it. And Idris Elba. What the hell is he doing in this movie? But anyways, Prom Night. I'm just gonna say this right away. I was never even a fan of the original Prom Night. Yes, I know Jamie Lee Curtis. You know, she's the Scream Queen. She does a lot of great horror movies. I liked her. A few of the Halloween movies she did, sure, was great, but I really didn't like Prom Night. I don't like a single Prom Night movie. I'm not a Prom Night fan, and again, this is just like Clash of the Titans. I thought, like, if they remade Prom Night, maybe that could be good. You know, like, maybe remake it and do something better with it. No, it ended up being even worse than the original. And I'm not even saying the original was bad. It was just kind of meh. This one was bad. It was bad. It was a PG-13 horror movie with a very boring villain, a very stereotypical villain, with all these young actors who cannot act, and it's just painful to sit through. And this movie is not even really a horror movie. Like, there's just a lot of teen problems. It's a movie a lot about relationships and stuff, and honestly, there's only like 4 kill scenes throughout the entire 90 minutes of the runtime, and basically the whole movie's about prom and people talking about relationships and stuff, and I'm like, I thought I was supposed to be watching a horror movie, not an MTV movie. And yeah, Prom Night 2008 was a stupid movie, just terrible. Coming number 8 is Arthur. Yes, Arthur. Again, I love the classic Dudley Moore version. That's such an awesome, amazing British comedy. And yes, they made a sequel to that. It's terrible, but I love Dudley Moore in this movie. I even like Liza Minnelli in this movie. They have good chemistry, and it's just such a funny, such a heartwarming, delightful film. And I love Arthur, and I don't know why they remade it. That is such a weird, bizarre, unnecessary remake. And they put Russell Brand in the movie. They put Helen Mirren in the movie. They put Louis Guzman as Bideman. And they put Jennifer Gardner in the movie. And it's just a stupid, unfunny movie. That's basically why I hate it so much. Yes, all these actors I've seen do good work in other movies, but this movie is so unnecessary. It's so unfunny. It's just painful to watch. Coming in number 7 is Halloween. Yes, Halloween 2007, directed by Rob Zombie. Yes, I don't know why he remade Halloween. The original 1978 Halloween movie is fantastic. It's one of the best John Carpenter movies. Not better than The Thing, but still one of the best Carpenter movies. It's so freaking good. But no, we had to get Rob Zombie to remake the movie, and oh my god. I just have to say this. I can't stand Rob Zombie. He has a few okay songs, but his movies are unbearable. They are fucking terrible. I hate every single one of his movies. Yes, I've seen most of his movies. The Lords of Salem, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and of course Halloween. Oh my god. This movie's terrible. It's so terrible. It tries to, show the backstory of Michael Myers, show that he was an abused kid, he had some issues, but he loved his mother and stuff, and oh my god, they chose a terrible kid actor. They chose a lot of terrible actors. Malcolm McDowell is in this movie, and I have no idea why Malcolm McDowell is in this damn movie. I'm like, what are you doing in this movie? You're too talented for this movie. This movie has horrible direction, terrible writing, and it's so boring. And when they get to the horror movie stuff, it's so generic. It's so basic and by the books. It's just a terrible, terrible horror movie. And I know there's actually sort of a fan base for this movie. I don't know why. I can't stand this movie. Number 6 is Black Christmas. Yes, Black Christmas came out in 2005, and it's one of the worst Christmas movies. And again, why did they remake Black Christmas? I don't see how they could remake that. The original was actually okay. The 1970s version, I think it's a Canadian film, and I actually don't mind it. I don't love it, but it's okay. It's got Margaret Kindler, Lois Lane from Superman. She's in the movie, and there's actually some pretty creepy shit, and it has a very creepy and twisted ending, and there's some pretty good stuff in the movie. But all in all, it's not like amazing, but it's like a masterpiece compared to this piece of shit. This movie is just awful. It's got terrible actresses. You got Katie Cassidy, Lacey Chabert, and Michelle Trachtenberg. If you don't know who any of those actresses are, they're basically TV actresses, and they're just terrible. I could not stand these characters. And this movie tries to be gory and violent, Ooh, it's supposed to be scary with its violence, and try to do a Saw or something. It's not. It's just weird, gross, off-putting, and just kind of boring, and just stupid. This movie is just awful. It's awful. Coming number 5 is The Invasion. Yes, in my other top 10 list, at my number 5 was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because that is the 5th best movie remake. So The Invasion is probably the 5th worst movie remake. Invasion of the Body Snatchers 56 was good. The 78 version was even better. This movie is a heaping pile of garbage. Yes, I have no idea why Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig were in this movie. Yes, this movie is even bigger. Like, as the movies kept getting remade, they were bigger and more grand and put more special effects. This movie was just bloated, convoluted, and it made little to no sense, and Daniel Craig was awful in this movie. So was Nicole Kidman, and I love Nicole Kidman as an actress, and she was awful in this movie. The execution was so off. It was horribly directed, and it wasn't scary. It just wasn't scary, and it just didn't work, and it just didn't need to be remade again. Coming number 4 is The Fog. Yes, The Fog. Yes, another remake for a John Carpenter movie. The John Carpenter, The Fog, it's an okay movie. It's not a favorite of mine. Like, John Carpenter did so much more better movies, better horror movies, but it was fine. This version, again, is fucking terrible. It's terrible. It's got Tom Welling. Yes, it's got Clark Kent from Smallville in the movie. Awesome. This movie also has Selma Blair and Maggie Grace and a bunch of other actors you just don't give a shit about. And this movie basically is just kind of a snooze fest, about the fog with spirits, and you don't really care. It's a PG-13 horror movie. It's about 90 minutes, and it's very boring. It's very uninteresting. The ending is beyond stupid, and again, the plot holes in this movie are just a lot. And the movie's very inconsistent, and it's just not at all scary, and just not at all necessary. Coming number 3 is Point Break. Yes, Point Break 2015. As you all know, this was my number 1 worst movie of last year. I hated this movie so freaking much. Yes, I'm not saying the original Point Break is a freaking classic, but it's a fun, entertaining, silly 90s movie. I liked Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. I liked Catherine Bigelow's direction. This movie just sucked the fun out of Point Break. It was dark, it was bleak, it was boring, it just felt like a sports movie. I'm like, this is supposed to be a bank robbing movie, not a sports movie, and it's so lifeless and dull and horribly acted. I hated this movie so much. I'm going to leave a link down below to my review, because I just don't want to talk about this movie. I hated this movie so much. I don't want to talk about it, so if you want to know my thoughts and opinions of Point Break, I'll leave a link down below to my review, and yeah, check that review out, and then come back to this video, because yeah, it's pretty good, and this movie sucks. Coming number 2 is Psycho. Yes, Psycho. Wow, yes, as you, like, it's pretty bad if you remake Halloween and stuff, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but if you remake Psycho, oh, you got a lot of balls. You can't remake Psycho. Psycho is already a damn near perfect film. It's wonderfully directed, amazingly structured, wonderfully acted, beautifully written, amazingly shot, and the score is one of the greatest scores I have ever heard. So, what did Gus Van Sant, what did he want to do? He basically just said, oh, let's just literally remake the movie. Let's literally, from shot to shot, remake the movie. Yes, this movie is a shot-for-shot remake of Psycho. This movie is just an exact repeat. The lines of dialogue, all the shots, all the scenes, is the exact same movie. Except more modern and with worse actors in it. You got Vince Vaughn instead of Anthony Perkins and stuff, and this movie is so stupid and ridiculous, and it's a giant middle finger to Hitchcock's masterpiece. Like, Psycho is a brilliant, masterful film, and this movie just basically said, oh, let's just copy it, and yeah, people will like that. People did not like that. I did not like that. This movie shouldn't have been made. And the number 1 worst movie remake is The Wicker Man. Yes, not the bees, not the bees. Oh my God. Yes, Nicolas Cage. Yes, Nicolas Cage. This movie, again, is a remake of a classic horror movie, which was awesome. It starred Christopher Lee, or co-starred, and this movie is hilarious. It's so freaking funny, but as a film, it's one of the worst movies ever made. It is awful. This movie doesn't do a single thing right. The writing, the direction, the acting, the makeup, the production, the editing, the shots, everything about this movie is done wrong. And it's very funny to watch. It really is. If you want to watch a movie with Nicolas Cage just yelling and screaming, getting stung by bees, wearing a bear suit and punching a woman in the face, if you want to watch a movie like that, you will be entertained, but at the same time, it is one of the worst movies of all time. It is a god-awful piece of shit. This movie is the worst movie remake. It's hilariously bad, but it is the worst movie remake. So yeah, that was my top 10 worst movie remakes. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and also in the comment section below, please tell me, did you grade this list? If not, give me your top 10 worst movie remakes. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and join the dark side.